going single family living community. My name is Sandin Kekic, and I am a third year occupational therapy graduate student at the University of Michigan, Flint. I'm currently in my final semester and working on my last assignment ever, which is our doctoral capstone project. For my capstone project, I've decided to team up with Miss Jerry Hunley and her nonprofit organization, Single Family Living. So the goal of our capstone project is to encourage us as students to pursue more non-traditional and non-conventional practice areas and experiences that will help enhance our skills as occupational therapists. So if you haven't clicked out of this video already, you're probably wondering, what is occupational therapy and why do I care about it? So most people have probably heard of physical therapy. You may know someone that had an injury and went to physical therapy. And occupational therapy is related. They're two similar fields, but they have their differences. So most people, if they have heard about occupational therapy, they think it's related to the workplace, or you go to occupational therapy after you have a work-related injury. And that's a common misconception. So the way we as occupational therapists define occupations are just any and everything that you need to do in your daily life that you need and want to do. All right, so let's think about that for a second. What do you need and want to do every day in your life? So what's the first thing you do in the morning? You probably brush your teeth and wash your face. Both of those, occupation. What do you do after? You probably make a meal and eat. That's occupation as well. What else can we think of? Driving to work, going to school, playing with friends, taking care of others. Those are all occupations. All right, so let's talk about some real world examples real quick of where OTs or occupational therapists work and what we do for specific clients or patients. So in the hospital setting, a population that we often work with are people that have experienced a stroke. So when someone has a stroke, they often lose the ability to eat by themselves or get dressed by themselves or use the bathroom by themselves. And we as occupational therapists help them relearn and regain those skills so that they can, once they're out of the hospital, they can do all those things I just mentioned by themselves and independently. So then another example on completely opposite side of what we as OTs can do is, for example, in the pediatric setting, working with a mother and her child who may have sensory issues and is a very picky eater, and the mom wants to come to us to help her with that. What we can do in that situation is provide the mom with certain parent coaching strategies that can give her the tools necessary to help her kid eat a wider variety of food. So as you can tell by those examples, occupational therapy covers a pretty broad range of populations that we can work with, from older adults all the way down to newborn babies. But the one golden rule I want you to remember is that occupations are any and all activities that you need and want to do. So I may be a little biased, but any occupation you could think of, there's probably an occupational therapist who can help you with it. So to sum it up short and sweet, we are client-centered. You tell us your goals, and then we work together to come up with a treatment plan to help you reach those goals. So now you're probably wondering who I am and how I can help you guys. So like I mentioned, my name is Sandin Kekic, and I received my bachelor's degree in psychology from Wayne State University, and am finishing up my doctoral degree in occupational therapy from University of Michigan, Flint, which I will be done with this August. So during my time in grad school, I completed 2 12-week clinical rotations. My first rotation was with an outpatient pediatrics center where I worked with kids ages 3 to about 18 years old. Many had sensory processing issues, and a lot of them also were diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Then in my second clinical rotation, I worked with Early On Michigan in Kent County in the Grand Rapids area. And I worked with ages 0 to 3 years old. And we worked with kids that had developmental delays or disabilities, and we helped their families. We worked on everything in that setting. This included gross motor skills, fine motor skills, speech, sensory, feeding. Anything that parents wanted us to work on, we worked on. Both of these experiences were amazing. I learned so much, and I'm grateful to have experienced them. So now to get a little more personal about myself, I am a Bosnian American who immigrated here with my family in 1997 due to a war going on in my country of Bosnia at the time. I moved here when I was 3 years old with my mom and my dad, and we had $500 in our pocket. That was all we had. We did not speak or understand English and did not know anyone here. So basically we had to figure out everything out on our own. So while my experience and my family's experience is not entirely comparable to the challenges a single parent may face when raising a family, I do think that a lot of the difficulties are similar, and that allows me to relate and really empathize with just the challenges that a single parent may face when trying to raise a family on their own. Just the struggle of trying to raise your children and your family without maybe having the support network of loved ones nearby to help, or just even knowing who to reach out to for resources to help you. My parents faced a similar thing. All right, so that's a perfect transition on how I became partnered with Single Family Living for my capstone project. So for our capstone project, we're encouraged to find organizations or causes that could benefit from the unique perspective and skill set that occupational therapists can contribute. So during my research online for organizations to partner with, I came across the Single Family Living website. So on the website, I read about the organization's mission, and I read Miss Jerry's story about wanting to help other single parents that may not have the support system that she had from her family. I really resonated with the mission and the values of the organization, and really saw parallels between my experience and my family's experience as immigrants and the experience of a single parent. So I knew I wanted to partner with Single Family Living. I sent a few emails to Ms. Hunley. We had a few meetings, and here we are, my capstone project. So for my capstone project, I'll be working with Single Family Living to help create and host educational and resourceful YouTube video podcast content, sort of like this. The content of the podcast will focus on topics related to health and wellness and just general life skills. So the cool thing about this is that the content and the topics that we talk about are all up to you guys, the Single Family Living community members. I want you guys to tell me what topics you're interested in and want to learn more about, and I will try my best to cover those topics and answer any questions you may have. Okay, so how this is going to work is within the next few days, we will be sending out an email survey with a list of topics for you to choose from. What I want you to do is to pick your 4 or 5 most interested in topics and click them. At the bottom of the survey, there's also going to be a blank space for you to ask any specific questions that you might want addressed by me personally. The survey is going to be extremely quick to fill out. It'll take 1 to 2 minutes max, and by completing the survey by the deadline, you will be automatically entered into a raffle for a free Amazon gift card. So that pretty much wraps it up for this intro video. Aren't you glad you stuck around to learn that you might have a chance at winning a free gift card? Make sure to keep your eye out for the email that's going to be sent to you within the next few days, and that's pretty much it. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.